Good morning, Wildcats.
Check test.
Just
One,
a few
two,
announcements
three,
this morning
four.
that I wanted to
Testing.
get out to
One,
everyone,
two, three,
since
four.
we did not have our staff meeting yesterday. So just a reminder, breakfast will be going on in the Teacher's Lounge this morning. We have Panera Breakfast for you. Lunch, we will be doing Casa for lunch today. And that order was sent out yesterday. You can put your order on there. We will order it around 11 o'clock so it gets back here in time for lunch. That's what we'll pick it up around 11 o'clock. Today we do have training happening. We have a group in the morning session, and then the rest of us are in the afternoon session. I will send those links out again after this message. But just a reminder about expectations. I'm asking that you come to this training today with an open mind and a capacity to learn. So limiting distractions, limiting conversations amongst ourselves when Dr. Forrest is presenting, just representing Van Buren. We'll be in small groups. Those groups have already been sent out. I do ask that you make sure that we're practicing social distancing and all of that good stuff while we are in the training. If you need help setting up your computer or anything, just let me know, and we can make sure that happens. Another reminder, I sent out a few emails yesterday about the Panorama survey from the DEI team. They sent that out again yesterday for anybody who hadn't completed it yet. If you did not receive this survey, please let me know. Everybody who works in the building should have received a Panorama Education survey email. So if you didn't, let me know, because we want to get a survey for everybody in the building. Speaking of surveys, your ILT team for NIET, we are wanting some feedback as well. So what we are going to be sending out is the surveys for master teacher, for mentor teacher, and a survey for career teachers. So 3 different surveys, one for Sarah as the master teacher, one for Mackenzie, and one for Michelle as mentor teachers. And then the last survey is for you as a career teacher, and this just lets you reflect on the NIET process so far, looking at yourself. So some different reflections going on. Those surveys, the the NIET surveys, will be coming out probably later today or early next week. So just wanted you to be aware that those will be coming out. I think they're 10 questions each that you guys will be answering on those surveys. Gym and music. So I started this year off by not allowing this switch to happen. So PE stayed for an hour long each week. Gym stayed for an hour long each week. Starting on Monday, I'm going to go back to our normal schedule where we will go back to 30-minute classes. So 4th grade and 2nd grade, you guys will be the first ones on Monday. You will go to where you initially started. So 4th grade, Bowser, if you were in PE typically on Monday, you will start in PE, but you will pick your kids up in music. We're at a point where I feel comfortable allowing this transition back to our normal plan. While we're talking about schedules, please make sure that your classroom schedule, your daily classroom schedule, and your seating chart is updated online. So if that's something that you've not done in a while or you need to make some changes, today would be a great day to do that. Just a couple of things that came out of our AST meeting yesterday. The Peaceful Valley Arts Celebration is a group that got started. They're looking at having youth celebrate the Brown County art history in our area. So it's an organization that has grouped together. It looks like they're going to be doing this celebration March, April. It's kind of a K-12 experience. Dr. Hammock will be working with Ms. Ferguson and all of the art teachers in the district on how we can incorporate all of our students into this. It's one where They have quite a bit of funding for awards and looking at art shows and how they can present student work. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up that that's coming our way. The other big thing that came out AST was the phishing test, not fishing as in fishing in a lake, but phishing from the technology department. And that is where, they're trying to send emails to get you to click on something. And I keep getting, people are like, why are they doing this? Well, this is the new way that hackers are trying to get to our information. The days of somebody thinking of setting in the dark cave, trying to hack in on the back end of our server. And people are realizing how valuable school data is. And so what happens is they get somebody to open up a link that sends a virus throughout the system that starts collecting the student data. So we have parameters in place, but there's always things that can override that and break through that protocol. So what happens is as soon as we open a virus, it can start spreading throughout the network. It collects data, it collects student files, we do the hard work for the hackers. Now, once they have that data, it's not data that it's not government data. They're not wanting it for their own needs. Why they want it is because then it becomes ransomware. So then it becomes, what is the school willing to pay to get this data back? So that's why it's happening. That's why we're getting emails. It'll continue to happen monthly. I just want you guys to be aware of it. If you find something if you see something that doesn't look right, report it through a tech ticket. Ask before you open. Anything, if it looks fishy, don't open. Ask and try to get some guidance before you do. It is becoming a serious issue, and it's something that we do need to take serious. So phishing tests, those will continue to happen. The next thing I want to talk about is Alice. That's one thing. We talked about this at the beginning of January, end of December, whenever that was, looking at our students, asking our students what these words mean. It was great to see their responses. So just going over it, alert is our first notification of danger. Alert is when we are alerting out, whether it's yelling so that the people around us hear it, or any way that we can alert the bigger group. I'm working with David Phelps on, you should be able to pick up the phone in your classroom, dial 5555555, so that's five times, and it will put you onto the intercom. It overrides the system. You can speak to the entire school from your classroom. So that is in the works. That is the highest level of alert that we could use. So as soon as you see something, whether it's outside of your classroom, it's at the end of the hall, it's on the playground, you have access to the school-wide system from your phone in your classroom. Lockdown is what we are formerly used to. The difference is maybe the barricade of the room. So lock the door, turn off the lights, push anything we can in front of the door to create as much of a barricade between the intruder and ourselves. Inform. Communicate the violent intruder's location, direction in real time. So the informing process can happen initially simultaneously as the alert, and then it can continue to happen as we gain information, and as we learn more things, we can continue to inform each other what's going on. Tech has all of our camera access, so they will be able to tap into our system. They can inform what's happening in our building. Law enforcement has access to our cameras. Dispatch has access to our cameras. They can see what's happening. So the more information that we can get broadcast, the better. Counter. Counter is, people often associate straight to fighting. Counter does not mean fighting. Counter can mean lots of things. It can be noise, movement, distance, distraction, with the intent of reducing the shooter's ability to shoot accurately. Right? We have to gauge our students, gauge who we have. What can we do to cause disruption? What can, running, jumping, causing commotion and all that sort. Whatever you want your students to do, they're going to look for you to tell them what you want. So when we think of counter, it's not just fighting, it can be lots of things. And then evacuate. Evacuate is that step that is not part of our typical response in the past, where we've stayed in lockdown until somebody came around and unlocked our door. Evacuate gives you the option, when you feel like that is the best choice, to evacuate the location. So Alice provides techniques for safer and more strategic evacuations. Evacuating to a safe area takes people out of harm's way and hopefully prevents civilians from having to come into any contact with the shooter. So, tabletop exercise, we're thinking of, we get an alert that something's happening at the end of the 3-4 hallway. What happens in that 3-4 hallway could be very different than what happens at the end of the 2nd grade hallway or at the end of the preschool 1st grade hallway. So that evacuation part is another step, another approach of what we can choose to do. If we choose to evacuate, where are we going? So here's Van Buren Elementary School. Here would be, this is the new bus parking lot down here. Here's the end of the 2nd grade hall. Here is end of 1st grade hall. And this would be coming out the 3-4 hallway. If we choose to evacuate, our end location is Reeves Cemetery Road. So kind of northeast, parallel with Valley Branch in our movement. So where do we go? We can drop down. This is a creek that is dry most of the year. There's a bank along the side of it that stays dry almost all year long. We can get down into the creek. We can go running up this way and then come out right here at Reeves. We can get right along this wood line. The wood line is really good cover, so we can have our kids run right along the edge of here across. This is just a hay field, and when we get up here, then we can get ourselves up to Cemetery Road. There is a house right here. There's a lady that's living in this house right now. I've spoken with her. She's aware that this is our meeting location, and she understands that it potentially could be used if we are in a situation. So I recommend, if you haven't taken a trip down Valley Branch, take a trip down Valley Branch and just kind of look at the layout of this land and know that this is where we are wanting to get if we choose to evacuate. So a lot more to come on Alice. I just wanted to kind of start that ball and kind of get that conversation started. So reminders for today: breakfast is in the teacher's lounge, lunch is at Casa, training is going on, and if you need anything, let me know. And that's all the announcements I have. And remember, it's a great day to be a Wildcat.